Hey, Unheard Gems. Today we are joined by Alyssa of Roses and Revolutions. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
We're really glad you could join us.
My
So,
pleasure.
our first question for you would be, when did you first know you really wanted to pursue music, and when did you start to work on your music professionally or just recreationally?
It's actually a really funny and weird answer. From a 90s baby, though, it might be expected. I saw the movie Titanic. Actually, I heard the soundtrack before I saw the movie, of course, because I was too little to see the movie. And I fell in love with My Heart Will Go On. And I had this, old organ in my parents' basement. And I taught myself how to play it, very, just the one note with the plucking out. But I fell in love with just music in general. And I started singing, and then I would set up little concerts in my basement with my recorder. Remember when we had to play recorders in school? I thought that was part of my musical talent. And then from there I kind of got serious about it when I was about 11. I was actually watching this show on MTV, and it was Vanessa Carlton, and it was this show called Duets. I remember, I have only seen one episode, and she was playing one of her songs, I'm assuming 1,000 Miles, and I was like, I want to play piano and sing. So I called my dad up, and he went and got me her songbook from, I don't know, Guitar Center or something, and that's when I really got serious and wanted. So I learned her whole book, and then I started writing my own songs, and that's just history.
Yeah. And then, so you started Roses and Revolutions, and it's a duo, correct?
It is.
So then, how did that come to be? What's the origin story? How did you pick the name? How did you guys meet? What was the story?
So music has always been a huge part of Matt's life as well. He has a little different of a background. He started guitar when he was in high school, which is so bizarre to me. And he just became obsessed with playing guitar and practicing. And what people don't know is he writes a lot of our songs. So songwriting was a big part of his thing too. I went on American Idol when I was 16, and then Matt found me after that because my Rochester, my hometown, did this big thing about it, and Matt found me, reached out to me on MySpace. I know, and nothing creepy. It was just like, hey, I have this band. Do you want to see if maybe we can collaborate and try playing together? So we did, and that was 9 years ago. We've known each other, and we started playing in this jam band. And then after a while, we were like, this is not our style. This is not our music. It was literally a saxophone and all this. It was a lot of band members. So Matt and I actually, in 2014, we started Roses and Revolutions. But at that point, we were writing mainly for syncs and for for TV placements. So our stuff was a lot more singer-songwritery. And then Matt and I finally wrote a song in 2016 called The Pines, which we finally wrote for us. This is a song that we felt really good about, we were excited about, and that was kind of the start of what I call Rose and Revolutions now. And the name comes from, my middle name is Rose, which Titanic reference as well. And the Revolutions just kind of was a feminine, masculine type thing, and it's kind of evolved into several meanings, but that's where it came from.
It's really cool. Hey. And so then you were talking about how you were doing a lot of stuff for movies and TV shows, and it was very singer-songwriter, but then how would you describe the style of music you do now, just sort of in general as an artist and as a duo?
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's kind of hard. It's a little different. We kind of walk a couple lines, but I would best describe it as indie pop meets alternative pop. It's especially with our new EP, it's got a kind of a range. It's a little rock, it's a little alternative, it's a little electronic, but it still has that acoustic-y flavor to it. So if that answers your question in any way.
And then, so what inspires you guys to write music, and how would you describe your creative process? Do you guys work together? Does one of you do a lot of more of the music part and one do the lyrics? How does it work together?
Yeah, we do everything together. There's never been one song where it was 100% one person and the other person just performs it. Matt is a very good lyricist, and he loves writing lyrics, so he does come up with a lot of them. And most times he'll come to me with like a chorus idea, and we'll sit down and I'll just start singing a melody, and we'll just play the chord progressions together, and it really evolves into something. And then Matt and I always have a big voice in the way things are produced as well. So while for this EP we brought on some producers to help, Matt and I still were very much a part of this process. So for songwriting, it's definitely 50-50 effort.
That's really cool. And so then, where do you see your music going next? Like, is there a particular vibe or style that you guys are really drawn to? I know you said that there's definitely some variety right now in your music, but what are you guys most drawn to in your work?
Well, we're a lot of our inspirations come from that world that I'm talking about, like that alternative indie pop world. We're listening to a lot of like Muna, Bishop Briggs. Oh my God, there's some K-Flay. There's so many really great artists, and a lot of them walk fine lines too. You know, you hear like Bishop Briggs. She's like a combination of like R&B meets rock, grit. You know, and then K-Flay, she's like rap and rock and like pop, and so it's kind of funny. But for us, I think we're definitely more leaning into that indie pop alt world. You know, I think we're going to continue. I think this is our best work yet, and I'm excited. We have some more songs that we're already working on that are still in this vein, just up a little notch.
Honestly, that feeds directly into my next question, which was, is there anything new in the works?
Yes.
Because you recently released Get That Feeling and Big Bad Wolf, and are we expecting more along that same sort of line, or what's coming soon?
Yeah, so the EP, you've heard most of the songs at this point. There are a couple new ones on the EP, which I'm really excited about. The one that probably is going to be the focus track is called Hearts, and it's a song that is really meaningful to Matt and I, and I think it's probably the most emotional song on the EP, and it's very different. It's kind of, actually, Bon Iver was actually a big inspiration for this song. So we do have new stuff other than the EP coming out on the 3rd of August, and then we have songs already ready for another EP that we're excited about. So yes, there's new stuff, and if you've seen us live, like last month we were on tour with Jen Wigmore, we played some of those songs, and just to kind of get a feel, you know, see if you liked them, and which is kind of fun to do. So
really cool. And then, so what has been your most surreal moment so far in the music industry?
Surreal. It kind of changes, which is kind of funny. I remember for a while my answer with that question was the first time I ever heard a song in a TV show or a commercial. The first time we heard it was in a show called The Real L Word. And when I heard her song, it was very surreal. That was probably the most surreal moment I've had, and I'm lucky to say it's happened multiple times, so it doesn't feel as surreal anymore. But the coolest feeling ever is to be in a city that I've never played in and see people singing lyrics. I think that is the coolest thing as an artist and as a songwriter, to be, like, specifically, we were in Seattle this past month, and we've never been to Seattle, and I could not believe the kind of reaction that these people had, and I was so grateful that they came early to see an opener and then knew some of the words to our lyrics, and some people wearing shirts. I'm like, what? So that is always surreal, and I don't think I'll ever get past that.
Yeah. And then I have one final question for you, and it's a tricky one. If you could recommend to us one other artist that you think deserves more recognition in the music industry, who would you recommend?
That's a fantastic question. That's a really good question. You know it's a good question. My God. Well, I would say, for a while I was in love with this band called Lord Huron. And then they got a song on 13 Reasons Why, and now everyone knows who they are.
I know.
So they did get that recognition. So, right? Isn't it weird? It's almost like, don't let that happen. I'm just joking. I'm really happy for them that they got that success. But yeah, so I would say them. Honestly, it's a girl I know from my hometown. I actually just saw her today. She just released her album. Her name is Michaela Davis. She's a harpist, and she's so incredibly talented. So I would throw her in that mix. Like, there's so many artists. Oh my god, if you just go on Spotify and just put on like any playlist, you will hear so many musicians that are so good, but they're not out there yet, and it's just a matter of time, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it's a tough business. It's a lot of people doing it. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. I really loved the opportunity to get to talk to you and hear more about your guys' music.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. This was really fun. I've never done a FaceTime interview. I really like it. It's fun. It's very personal. I like it. Thank you so much for having us.